Rachael Ray has been called a homewrecker, a crack dealer, and a lot of other bad things. She is known for being bubbly on TV and a good cook. Behind the cameras and lights, the TV chef's life has often been very sad. Come sit down and take it easy. This is the first show, and I love firsts. Among other things, Rachael Ray is known for having a lot of energy, knowing a lot about cooking even though she has never been to culinary school, and having a lot of drive. But her gravelly voice is what makes her stand out. Whether you watched her long-running broadcast show or not, if you know Ray, you probably know her signature rasp. Ray has had this voice for as long as she has been popular, and it's not because of cigarettes or anything else that changes voices. Ray has had trouble with her voice her whole life, but it was worse before she hit puberty. Ray has always had trouble with her voice box because she had croup as a child, which is an infection that affects the airways. In 2006, Ray told People magazine, "I had a lot of croup as a child, so my vocal cords aren't very strong to begin with. It helped my throat to do some stretches and drink less coffee after seeing a voice doctor." In 2008, Ray had surgery to remove a cyst from one of her vocal cords. After a week of careful vocal rest, she was back to having a bubbly, gravelly voice. Ray went to New York City in 1995, just 1 year after new ways of fighting crime were made public. In less than 2 years, she was robbed violently in the hallway of her own Queens apartment building. She told People, "This kid comes in behind me, and the next thing I know, he presses my face against the door, sticks a gun in my back, and says, 'Give me your bag.' I turned around and screamed as I took the top off the mace my dad gave me when I moved to New York City. The thief was scared off, but he came back the next week and beat Ray up in an alley. She left the city for upstate New York because of these events, saying, 'Dude, I got robbed twice in a week. Do you not want to leave?' She's like the most peaceful person you could meet." Most of the hate that Rachael Ray has gotten has come from tabloids and regular people. It was a huge surprise when another big name in cooking shows called her out in 2009. She hasn't had to deal with criticism from a friend very often. The story began when Ray agreed to be in Dunkin' ads. This seemed like a good idea since Ray's brand is built on quick and easy meals. Ray's brand might have fit with the relationship, but she herself told ABC News that it was a PR disaster after Anthony Bourdain called her evil and said she was selling crack to kids. There were many people who didn't like Ray's choice. Some were furious because they thought her scarf was a sign of Islamic violence, but Ray didn't seem to care about the negative feedback. "They came to me and said, 'We want to make healthier food for America,'" she told ABC News. "A lot of coffee is what you do. You used to love Dunkin' Donuts." She also said that Dunkin' gave money to her charity, Yummo, saying, "They've been very helpful to me. I'm not sorry about anything. Not for a second." People have said some fair things about Rachael Ray, but they have also said some mean things about her that weren't necessary. One rumor was so ridiculous it was almost funny, but Ray really did get hurt by it, and no one could blame her. We are, of course, talking about how Ray got caught up in the Jay-Z and Beyonce cheating story because of how stupid everyone on the internet is. Her name got her into trouble because it sounds a lot like the name of another Rachael who was accused of being Jay-Z's lover. Rachel Roy was the artist who was the other Rachael. A lot of people think Roy was seeing Jay-Z because of an Instagram post she made about good hair, which was seen as a reference to Beyonce's famous Becky with the Good Hair song. The Bayhive went after Roy, but some of Bay's less smart fans saw Rachel Roy and thought of Ray right away, even though Rachel Roy is a fashion designer and has nothing to do with TV. People were angry at Ray after that and sent her tweets like, "Never watching your show again, Rachel, you're a home wrecker." A vowel can change everything. Yeah, what a difference a vowel makes. John Cusimano is a musician, actor, and lawyer who married Rachael Ray in 2005. Fans know him well because he often appears on Ray's afternoon show. For years, the host has had to deal with rumors that her husband has been cheating on her, but she has never been accused of cheating herself. Plus, people have judged her a lot for what her husband did, even though it hasn't been proven to be true. Even though the rumors aren't true, Ray and Cusimano have had to defend their partnership over and over again. In a 2007 interview with People, Ray said, "I've known where he is every night since we've been married." She also said that she had heard about 6 people her husband was allegedly cheating on her with, "And we have talked every day since the night we met." In 2013, tabloids said that Cusimano was a regular at a New York City swingers club called Checkers. The couple felt compelled to issue an official denial. Their publicist said, "This is yet another pack of lies written by the National." Inquirers who have been after John and Rachael for years for no reason, many people can relate to not getting along with a family member or even cutting them out of the picture when the relationship gets too bad. In the case of Rachael Ray, it was a cousin who was angry about her mother's death and thought Ray was to blame, who chose to call her out in the media. After the TV star and her husband skipped the funeral for Ray's aunt who had died, the death turned into a full-on war, and the tabloids jumped at the chance to make Ray look bad. Geraldine, Ray's aunt, died when she locked herself outside in the cold by accident. At the time, she was house-sitting for her sister Elsa, Ray's mother, in cold upstate New York in November 2013. Glenn Ray, Ray's cousin, told the National Enquirer, "My mother is dead today because the Ray family neglected her. When it was time for the funeral, Ray and her husband couldn't make it because they had to work. Gina scolded them, saying, 'It's not acceptable. It shows that you don't care at all.' I have no idea why the dog bites me. I don't have anything in me like Nutrish Whole Health Blend that would help them live a happy, healthy life. I'm a stick. People often expect a famous person to be responsible for a product that has their name on it. When Rachael Ray's dog food, Nutrish, was hit with a huge case, Ray took most of the public's anger on herself instead of just some of it. People either forgot or didn't care that she wasn't involved with the day-to-day activities or the making of the line of products that were found to have a harmful ingredient. The cat food line was first made by Ainsworth Cat Nutrition, but it was later bought by the J.M. Smucker Company, which owned it when a 2018 class action case for $5 million was brought. In the case, a customer said that the so-called natural dog food had the herbicide glyphosate in it, which he said was misleading advertising. In 2019, the judge threw out the case because it wasn't specific enough, but Ray had already been getting a lot of bad press. That was to be expected since the dog food is officially called Rachael Ray Nutrish. However, the real suspect, Smucker, should also be mentioned in the news. You're silly, but you're so cute. Do not worry, Marty. Wait a minute, honey. Marty, you can do it if I can. In the middle of 2020, Rachael Ray's home in upstate New York burned down. The next year, her flat in New York City was destroyed by heavy floods. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, Ray lost more than just his land and things. Sad to say, she also had to say goodbye to Isabu, her beloved dog, who died in May 2020. She said on Instagram, "Today, at John Cusimano and I mourn the loss of a dog, a pit bull, who taught us more about unconditional love, empathy, and understanding of one another than we could have ever imagined." Even though she had lost someone, Ray was still able to see the bright side of things. She appreciated the time she had with Isabu because time had stopped for her. This is what she told Extra. "When I lost my dog, I was so thankful that I could be with her the last few months of her life. She died in my arms. At the same time, I felt guilty and thankful. Real people died because of COVID or because they couldn't get care. How many people died by themselves?" A month after Isabu died, Ray and her husband got another puppy and named her Bella Boo Blue to honor their late pit bull.